Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome to FSP episode number 93. We're gonna have a fun show now that all the chaos in the community has subsided and we're getting back to normal gaming talk and conversations here. Then once everybody realized Xbox is not dead or going anywhere for at least a very, very long time, now we get to have some normal talk, and there's a lot of stuff going on. There's something going on that I specifically want to talk about. That is something that's seen go around since Helldivers been so popular and stuff like that. And I saw there was a tweet going around about it from a former 343 developer, and some of the stuff going on about Halo, and maybe was lots of projects they wanted to get started, and for some reason they weren't able to do anything. And something we've been asking for a long time is more Halo spinoff games. Like, expand the universe, be creative, do lots of different stuff. And turns out there was a lot of developers at 343 that maybe wanted the same thing. So we're going to talk about that, and maybe hopefully things can change there. Also, Helldivers 2 and the server shenanigans going on with all of that, and PlayStation's multi-platform future. Since none of the PlayStation podcasts want to talk about this, and none of the games media really want to talk about this, how about we talk about this? Because it's something that's very interesting, and it kind of got overshadowed last week, I think, with all of the Xbox stuff going on. So we're going to make this PlayStation multi-platform week here on Fun Speculation. We're going to talk about PlayStation multiplats, PC day one, and all this kind of stuff, and we'll have some fun unless some other kind of cool news goes on. But thank you all for being here, chat. You absolutely rock, and I hope you all enjoy the content. If you do, hit the like button, share it out, sub to the channel, hit the notification bell, all that kind of cool stuff greatly helps all of us grow and more people find us. But say hi to the amazing panel. 3-Bit is here this week. What's up, 3-Bit?
What's up, y'all? Been a pretty busy but good week. I did get some gaming done, so I've been playing, Coffee Talk. I know there's a lot of people, you're like, what is that?
That's not gaming. What are you talking about? Coffee Talk?
It's relaxing for some reason. So I've been playing that, but I beat Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, you like it?
I finally beat it. Dude,
how about the ending, right? You know what I'm talking about?
So
like, I don't want to spoil it, but when you're going up the,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was unexpected. I kind of want to replay that part with someone.
Yeah,
I don't want to spoil too much, but that was really cool. I definitely want to like get some of the DLC characters, I think, at some point, just to see how they play. So
didn't they have the boys or something to that?
Yeah, they have like Homelander and Omni-Man from Invincible. Like, what the heck? Those are two really cool characters. I love both of those characters. So yeah, I got some gaming done. I've been playing Alan Wake as well. Replaying that game, and it's really good. I'm in the beginning of that, so yeah, got some gaming done. Yeah, busy week, but pretty good.
Yeah, right on, man. Thanks for being here as usual, bro. And then we got Fuzzy Belvedere. Fuzzy's not able to be here next week, but you're here tonight, and until you completely abandon the Xbox ecosystem full force, we'll keep talking Xbox with you. No, I'm just kidding, man. Thanks for being here, Fuzz. What's going on, dude?
Oh, glad to be here with you guys. Man, wife and I are getting ready to go on a little vacation Thursday, so that's why we're going to be away for a bit. But yeah, been playing some games, been watching Twitter, people having meltdowns, attacking each other, and a game that I was enjoying but having a difficult time getting into, and then kind of wondering if anybody said final words for Foam Stars over the past few weeks, because I ain't heard squat about that.
Does that
game
have
in
a
while.
review? For one thing I want to know about that is, does that have a review yet? And then second off, I'm waiting to play Helldivers too, because I'll wait till those servers stuff,
No, but it's been a week as far as gaming is concerned, and Twitter and everything in between. But so glad to be here with you guys. So much to get into. A lot of games coming out this week. So yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Fuzz. I was just trying to look it up, and I think it's still a review in progress for IGN.
That's amazing. That is fantastic.
No, wait. Oh, okay, that does have a score.
Okay.
Okay, so
so
they've updated it, so it's a 6. 6.
Interesting.
So-
Not that I put
think
too
it-
much faith in any IGN reviews anyway. So
Yeah.
but
Just curious.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that game died faster than Destruction All Stars. So yeah, that's an accomplishment.
Tech
Yeah.
Radar says Foam Stars review. Don't worry about FOMO. two out of 5 with them.
I haven't heard anyone talk about that game. It's
Yeah,
crazy how fast that died.
It's interesting. Not really. I mean, we kind of all predicted that, this is probably a game where the servers are going to be shut down within a year, right? So
I didn't think it would be this fast.
maybe they should like beg Square Enix for their servers to put over on Helldivers right now. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this game was below. They got extra room, right now. Maybe Maybe they
put
can
these
talk
servers
them
in
in.
this room.
The servers that you already paid for? You know what I mean? These ones, that you already have rented out for extended period of time, probably because you expected your game to be a success. How about we kind of help with that, give you a little bit of money just for those servers, just for now. To help you out, help us out, Square. Come on. Jasper, what's up, man? This is your second to last FSP for a while.
Yeah, got one more after this, I think, and then
It's garbage.
Oh, Fuzz is not gonna make the last one.
You had to
I know,
go
that's-
and grow up right before our eyes and do something important. It's like, what the hell? Just like talk video games for the rest of your life. Come on, man.
I mean, if you want to start paying me,
Yeah, that might have helped, I guess.
Put a salary, get a healthcare.
Yeah, thanks for being here, though. Appreciate you, bro.
yeah, it's been pretty good. I haven't tried Helldivers today, but I know that yesterday was terrible, so I just really haven't played anything really all day today. Just do live stuff, and then it's kind of been my day. So
Yeah, right on. Well, thanks also for being here as usual, bro. Alvin hit us with a very generous $5 super chat. Said, if Helldivers 2 was also on Xbox, not only would the commie bugs be defeated by now, Microsoft could have helped fix the servers. But hey, I'm sure Sony is on it. LMAO. And like the funny thing is like they're using Azure servers, right? But I've seen people trying to blame Microsoft for this. But like a lot of games use Azure servers. It's about them buying more servers or renting more servers, right? Like this is about money and them not wanting to dig deeper into their pockets. I just never thought that the right strategy to solve these kind of problems was hope that people stop playing your game or hope that people stop playing your game or stop buying it. You know that I've seen people like, they don't want to overshoot it because like things will settle down, right? But if I'm them, I'm thinking, when is it going to settle down? And I don't want us to be the reason why it settles down. Like, you want to make sure you get every damn person and every damn sale and everything.
it's
that
also
you can
going to kind of
possibly get.
extend it. You would think, like, because
Yeah.
people like there's millions of people that bought the game, they can't play it. They're like, well, I'll try it next week. I'll try it next week. So it's just going to keep the game going longer because they're capping it at 450.
Spidey says Amazon servers. I've seen everybody saying they're using Azure. So I don't know. I've seen like 10 different people have told me they're using Azure servers for Helldivers too.
At least from what they said on the PC side of things, it should
Yeah.
be.
I don't know, but
Sounds like it's an online game.
yeah, I mean, but they're been at
Very
server
much so.
capacity for a while now, and I did make a tweet yesterday because, like, I mean, this happens with a lot of games. It even happens with big games from big publishers, right? Like,
Happened to Diablo.
Diablo happened with, like historically it's happened with most EA online games. Like, Battlefield, besides this last one, right, was always hitting like server capacity at launches, right? And that was always frustrated the shit out of me. It's like, and they would always come out with this thing, wow, this game has like been super beyond our expectations for people wanting to dive in. We can't thank the community enough. We're working on it, you know? And that's been like a thing in the industry for a long time. However, what's different here is those problems usually get worked out in like a day or two, right? Like they just keep ramping up. Pal World managed to end up allocating like 2 million concurrent players, and they're like a way smaller development team, and they had the same problem hitting capacity at first, right? And they kept ramping it up, but at a much quicker pace. And it seemed like Arrowhead was doing that with Helldivers, right? And then they reached a number like, well, we're going to stop here, which was kind of like, okay, I don't really understand that. Like, I don't know why they kind of, did they add more today or?
I don't think they've added any. I think it's still 450.
They've been at the 450 for like 2 days now, right? And at capacity, like all the fucking time, pretty much within that, like especially on the weekend. So I don't know. For me, with Helldivers, it's kind of like I want this game to continue to be successful, and I think it's a fucking fantastic game. But it is a detriment to how many people could be interested in buying it or playing it or even trying to play it because they're constantly at capacity. And I don't know if it's Sony's decision. I don't know if it's Arrowhead and what their financial situation is, and if they don't have the money for it, that's when like Sony should step in and all this kind of stuff because it's a Sony published game. But like somebody needs to get some more servers on that shit because this could, like, what would the numbers have been, right, for them if they had kept ramping up? Could they have hit 600,000, 700,000, 800,000? Could they have like hit 1 million? We'll never know, you know, like.
I mean, the thing also with the Steam numbers is like, I know a lot of people are saying like, there's 400,000 people playing it, but like Steam's going to just check you if you log into the game. So like, there could have only been like 350,000 people on Steam actually playing it, and like the other 100 on PlayStation. Like just because Steam's chart says 400 people are playing it, they could be in the queue or whatever.
Right.
Just I've seen a lot of people just saying like, look, there's only 50,000 people playing on PlayStation. Just like that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, we don't really know what the 100% numbers are, though. We do know that it's majority is on PC. That's for sure, right? But you know, I think that's a pretty popular game on PlayStation. But like the PC thing has done a lot for this game at release. I don't think it would be the phenomenon that it is, right? That everybody would be talking about it and all this kind of stuff if it didn't hit day and date on PC. And
it's almost like day and date for PC. It's a pretty good idea for multiplayer type games.
Yeah.
I think this game also like the day and date does help, but also like this game, just like the word of mouth and the clips, like this is a very clippable game, and like sharing it, like so casual, like my casual friend group has seen it because they like are always on TikTok and shit, and they're like, "What is this Helldivers game I'm seeing?" So like it's a very clippable like moment game, and I think that's really what is helping that game out.
Yeah, that definitely helps, for sure. But you know, there's just been this mentality with PlayStation for so long to put games on PC later. I mean, for this type of game, it makes sense to do day and date on PC. But I mean, it's definitely hidden well. I do want to try it out, but I don't want to jump in and then the server's not working. So I kind of want them to solve that before I even consider buying it. And I'm sure there's other people like me maybe who are thinking the same, so they really should take advantage of this time when the game is hot, when people are making TikToks of it, because I mean fads come and go. TikTok has a lot of different fads in the moment, and Helldivers is definitely in it, just like Jasper was saying. So I mean, yeah, I would either buy more servers. I feel like that is more so on Sony's side, as they probably have, you know, fully developed the game in terms of like the money side of it and marketing and things like that. So I'm sure servers are up to them budget wise, since they're publishing it while the Arrowhead are just developing the game. So I think Sony needs to probably just prioritize the servers a little bit more. I don't think this is on Arrowhead necessarily, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll see what they end up doing. You guys think they'll expand the servers
I
They don't
don't
by
know.
at
next
all?
weekend.
Or
It's going to be a big letdown. I'll just put it that way. Like they got
yeah,
to do something by next weekend. Like if it's not able to bump up capacity to 750 or above, then
I
they
think I
should
think
just probably pack it up.
probably by Thursday we'll hear something. Like I'm guessing that maybe that we didn't hear anything this weekend because like it was on the weekend when a lot of this happened. So like maybe certain server providers they couldn't like get a hold of or whatever and set it up. So they had to wait till
Mhm.
the business day. But
Alvin said
Mhm.
with what money they broke. I mean, they just announced. To be fair, I mean, yes, but they announced that 10 billion loss in evaluation and stuff. And Sony doesn't really do a lot of multiplayer games. This could go into that experience. I heard some rumors about like Bungie trying to help with Helldivers or something. I don't know
well,
what
that was
that's
Arrowhead
true.
saying
But
Marathon was shit.
oh, really? Arrowhead
Yeah.
was saying it? Oh, that's interesting. Why does
What
Bungie
what
keep
did
trying to
it,
get
what
involved
did
and
you
then like
see about that, Jasper? I didn't I missed this.
Arrowhead came out and was like, they said that I don't know how true this is. Again, it's
Yeah.
just
yeah, I don't
like
know how
articles on
true.
Twitter, or whatever. But apparently, Arrowhead like reviewed Marathon. They're like, yeah, we don't see this game having longevity.
Oh,
They
that's
said that
how
to
it went.
Bungie.
I thought Bungie said that to Arrowhead.
I thought it was
No,
Arrowhead saying that to Bungie.
I don't know. Someone confirm it. Because I seen that in passing, but I didn't know what it was, what if
It
that
would
was
it
true.
be would that I mean that sounds like a joke about like how Marathon, like Bungie would said that about factions or
Yeah.
whatever.
yeah,
So it
Yeah,
seems like a reverse on that, like somebody teasing Bungie, like
that would be
like
so funny if that
Arrowhead,
was.
because Arrowhead's proven that they have a game that can be
Yeah.
successful, and I think a lot of us see that that game will have legs, right? Because it's just
Mhm.
so damn fun to play, as long as they can fix the issues with it. I mean, there's more than just the capacity issues too. Like there's random crashes on PC still, and which help it makes the server issues even worse because if you do crash, it sucks because you have to like wait again to get in. But then also because of the capacity issues, there's also this like the matchmaking issues keep still happening. So like sometimes you're kind of forced to play solo, which this is a game that you don't want to play solo because like the matchmaking has been kind of broken at times. Sometimes it's working,
Yeah,
sometimes it's not. If you got friends online, then you can easily play with them usually. But if you don't, like the matchmaking has been hit or miss for the online stuff so far. So
Solo isn't too bad. Like what I do is I just like keep it on medium and then just grind out the materials to
yeah,
upgrade. Like I just kind
yeah.
of grind when I play solo or whatever.
it's still a
Like
fun
not
game to play
yeah.
that way. But you're not gonna do much on hard or challenging
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Mhm.
I tried that last night, Jasper. I was doing challenging, right? And it was a
It's
fucking
challenging.
one. I had to launch a nuke or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like fucking hell. I mean, it's just like relentless, dude. And you don't have enough ammo. You can't your stratagems are all out because you used them all, and you got nothing. So you're just like running a lot of times. Um, and at that point, I had given up on trying to extract. I just wanted to complete the mission.
Yeah.
It was like just complete the mission, and I'm going to die. Like I am accepting my fate here, right? But yeah, it is such a fucking good game, man. Like, and that's kind of a segue into what the other thing that Helldivers has brought up, right? Which is kind of like one of our main topics is Halo, because just like the first game, which a lot of us looked at like that looks like kind of a knock on ODST, like because I mean literally the orbital drop
Yeah.
shock trooper type things, right? So and a lot of people were like back then on PS4 when we were playing the original Helldivers, like man, like that'd be awesome to get a Halo game like this. And then the conversation has come back up again now, right? Because it takes inspiration from Halo, it takes inspiration from Super Troopers, it takes inspiration from Terminator,
Starship Troopers, Super Troopers.
Starship Troopers. Sorry. Starship Troopers, Super Troopers.
Can you hear me meow?
Super Troopers. I was like, we're Vermont highway cops here.
What's that restaurant you like?
I don't.
You mean shenanigans?
I don't remember all the jokes from Super Troopers, bro. I remember the meow, right? Meow. I remember that. Yeah, Starship Troopers. That'd be great if it had inspiration from Super Troopers as well. I guess like some of the jokes you can say that, but anyway, Starship Troopers, right? And then also a Terminator, and then you could look at like Earth Defense Force as well as another game, and there's lots of things where like they clearly are taking like inspiration from. But one of the most glaring ones is Halo, right? Like you can't. The ships in space look like they're fucking right out of Halo. The drop pods look like they're right out of Halo. You know, like some of the ships, like you can name things like literally the ship that comes to take you away, you extract from is called a Pelican, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
And it looks like a Pelican. You know, like there's, and they're not trying to rip it off. It's more of like paying homage to. You know what I mean? So.
They have a Master Chief inspired like armor. I think I saw somewhere, right, where
Apparently it was a Twitch drop. I don't know if it's still going
it was
on.
a Twitch. Yeah. So
Alvin, member for 20 months, says Helldivers chugging syrup for freedom, for democracy, for democracy. Yeah. But this has kind of come about because a lot of people are like, man, if we could just get it. We were having this conversation when we were playing the other day. We're like, man, it's could they just please make a Halo game like this? Because we could just imagine how awesome it would be with the Covenant, and you know, you could do like certain planets with like the Covenant, certain planets with like the Banished. You know, you could have certain planets with the Flood.
it's such a massive universe, and they restrict it to Infinite. I mean, I love Infinite, but it's weird. You have a Halo TV show, and you're not even saying with the TV show like,
Yeah.
get a special skin from the show. You know, it's not like their marketing isn't there for me for Halo. And I don't know if that's because they're deprioritizing Halo, which I've heard rumors about, or what the deal is. But yeah, I've always felt like if Halo is such a massive universe, you can do so many different genres of Halo and it will fit. You could do a horror Halo game that would fit. You could have some ODSTs going in a flood level or something like that. That would be so sick. You could have a game like Helldivers too, where it's just ODST. They drop on to I don't know. Maybe you could set it in different time periods, like maybe Fall of Reach or something. That could be really cool. There's just so much potential with Halo that it's almost doing it a disservice just to have it how it's traditionally been. And I'm saying that as a huge Halo fan.
Yeah.
Like I love Halo. It's like it means a lot to me actually. The Halo franchise. So you can have that.
I kind of get the sense that they're afraid, like especially after Halo 5, I kind of get the sense that they're afraid to do anything that doesn't have Master Chief in it.
Which is so weird. Like have the Master Chief thing, like that everyone loves. Like sure, give people that, but
Yeah.
like they've done some side games, but still it's like it feels more mobily than it.
Yeah.
I mean, Halo Wars that was great. I do love Halo Wars and stuff like that, but they've done like what was it Spartan Assault?
You had
or
the
something
two
like that, and
Spartan Assault and Spartan Strike. So there's the two mobile games, right? Then you had
The Dave and Buster's game.
Yeah, then you had the Dave and Buster's
Yeah,
arcade
that too.
game. You have the Halo Wars games, and then you have the main Halo series. With ODST is kind of a spin-off from that, but it's still kind of first-person shooter, you know,
Basically,
like. But
like
it
Halo
is.
3.
I'll count it as a spin-off because you're not playing as a Spartan there. It has changed the
Yep.
gameplay quite a bit, and your perception of everything in the world, right? The different mood and tone in that as well, right? But this kind of brought up to even more full force with the conversations. First off, we saw Mint Blitz, who's popular in the Halo community, had made a tweet, said Halo has so much potential as a franchise, I don't know why multiple studios teams don't work on separate projects, PvP, PvE campaigns, anything. You could do so much. This is something we've brought up numerous times in the past when talking about Halo. Stuff what we would love to see Halo expand because it has so much potential. And then to make matters worse, this is where things got even really interesting. So there's a former 343 dev named Kevin Schmidt who his bio says senior designer special projects at Epic Games, previously senior lead designer 343 on Halo. So he had made a tweet said we must have pitched 20 to 30 game ideas over the 12 years that he was there that would have totally worked in the Halo universe. Many single player and multiplayer ODST themed ones. Some galaxy spanning, some more intimate, and one that was really dark. LOL. So then somebody said, like, you know, all right, so I must ask, this is Andrew Prosser on Twitter. I said, I must ask you, with truth and honesty as a nothingness voice on Twitter, what was the real actual problem when you were in 343? Was it the leaders in-house or the overhead leaders like Xbox and Microsoft who influenced these decisions? And then Kevin Schmidt replied, oh boy, how I wish I could answer this.
Yeah, I wouldn't answer that.
Yeah, I mean, it's first off, I mean, he wants to still work in the industry and not be blacklisted from by spreading
I
gossip
kind of hint
and
at
stuff.
my Ubisoft stuff every now and then, but like,
so
that's because I'm kind of moving away from the
Also,
industry.
he probably signed an NDA or something too.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So okay, so do we think that this was a Bonnie Ross and overseer of the Halo IP for so long, ever since 343 became the stewards of it, issue? Or do we see it more as a Microsoft and Xbox corporate issue trying to protect the Halo IP a little bit too much? Because I remember reading something a long time ago, just before we get in the conversation, I remember reading something a long time ago about them being ultra careful, and this came from Bungie, right? Ultra careful about how they handled Halo because one of their fears in the industry was oversaturation, right? And because if you oversaturate something, it becomes too much and then people lose interest overall, right? Which, okay, and that's why they kept with the main line, but then you see the potential that it has, and you look at something like Star Wars, and I've always thought that Halo had the same kind of potential as a universe to like be ever expansive and do all these different kinds of things and stuff, and it's just not utilized like it could be, right? Where all the eggs are in this one basket, right? And if this one basket doesn't hit how everybody wants to, then it's like, what is the next thing to look forward to? And where we could have all these awesome things, and we see another company do something that people had the idea in their mind would be amazing for Halo for so long, and they just hit the nail on the head, and you have this like crazy successful multiplayer thing, right? That's taking off right now, way more than Halo, right? The actual game. So is it a Microsoft thing? Was it a Bonnie Ross thing? Was it a 343 thing? Like what is keeping them from doing these projects? Because now we know that they were pitched. It's not like they were like, well, devs don't want to do it. You know, they did. I don't know. 3-bit or Fuzz. You don't go first, Fuzz. You're on mute. Yeah. Unmute yourself, buddy. There you go.
Sorry. Yeah, I think it's a mixture of all the above in a way. Kind of like the oversaturation thing. I can kind of understand having that as your guideline, but let's look at Mario. Is Mario oversaturated?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I would disagree that it's not.
It's like 2 Mario games a year of some sort, right?
Call of Duty too.
Yeah. And the thing is, all of the games, I won't say all of them are different, but they have slight differences, whether it's a 3D platformer, side scroll platformer, whether it's like there's a variety of different types of those games, and that's the one thing that I think they missed the point when it came to oversaturation. You don't want to oversaturate the same thing. You don't want to oversaturate the campaign and constantly make it just the campaign. That's where a spinoff would be like kind of like a way to not necessarily move beyond it, but have that as an alternate that you can work on, or have another team work on it, and expand on the ideas and things. Like I think it's in a weird way part of Microsoft culture, because the drawback that they run into is, at least it seems like with 343, they were also running into the whole contractor issue where the 18-6, I think is what they call it. It's like you have the 18 months where you can work and then 6 months where you can't work there. And it's like you're always losing talent in that regard. Or maybe you hire 1% of them to keep them there. But then the drawback is you have those that are passionate about doing some of these other projects, and it's like, well, we don't have time because we need you to focus on this project for this campaign, and we don't have time for anything else, kind of thing. So I don't know if Bonnie Ross is directly to blame, because she was the one kind of pulling the strings at the time, but we still don't hear or see anything really working differently under new leadership, which makes me think it's not necessarily the leadership's aspect problem. It's Microsoft is just like, yeah, just focus on another campaign, or another multiplayer thing, and that's it. They don't have much string to work with. But yet a lot of the other first party studios can probably do whatever they want, or at least it seems like there's a lot more leeway for some of the other studios.
Yeah, I feel like just being at these different game studios, I've seen a lot of ideas die, a lot of good ideas, and it's a mixture of reasons. There's always like politic reasons of why, of like whether or not it's let's say like, oh, the market doesn't need this specific game right now, for example. That's like one example. Like, oh, horror games aren't doing too well right now. Let's like rile that back. Can you pitch something else? Sort of thing that tends to happen in the gaming industry, which is really annoying because there's so many different ways to do an idea, and when you get non-creatives involved in the creative process, it can be kind of annoying. That's one thing that did pop up in my head when Mav, when you asked that question. Another thing, I think back to that interview with Bonnie Ross and Ryan McCaffrey, and they kind of go over the successes of the Halo games and kind of what's been wrong. And Bonnie, from her perspective, if you guys see that, it's a really older interview, but I thought it was pretty good, and I always think about it to this day. Where she talked about what happened with Halo 4, where people were like, oh, it's too different, or something, or Halo 5. I mean, this was a vastly different game than what people are used to, so it was kind of just chastised. And I'm always in the opinion of like, there's certain people in the Halo community you should not listen to. Because they are very, I mean, I get it. I love Halo. I think everybody on this panel loves Halo to a degree. And but I feel like you shouldn't listen to them because they want Halo to basically be the same. But if you look at Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're all different in their own way. But from that interview, she was basically talking about with how they wanted to evolve the Halo franchise and what they're doing different for the future iteration of Halo, which is Infinite. I feel like you're always going to have those people who want Halo to kind of be the same, to have that formula where it feels like a sandbox, it's first person, have all the multiplayer features. That's me. I'm in that camp for sure. But I'm not saying to get rid of that. I'm just saying they could really benefit, and Microsoft could benefit from having a side project to expand. It's a massive universe. Imagine if Star Wars was only in one genre, like only first person. That's pretty much how
Right.
they're treating the Halo franchise. That doesn't make sense to me. To only just imagine you only can play as a stormtrooper in Star Wars, and that is it. You're only stuck, and there's
Or
a
it was just
massive
like
universe.
only Luke Skywalker, just because people
Yeah, you
only because he
only
was the
play.
original hero, right?
Yeah, that sounds
Mhm.
dumb when you say it that way, right? But
Yeah.
that's kind of how they've been treating the Halo franchise. Like you only play as Master Chief, and I mean they did have like Halo Reach to be fair and ODST, but I'm just sort of talking from a general standpoint where I feel like they could expand outside of their genre point and the universe. It doesn't have to be a first person; it could be a third person horror. They could really venture out. I just think, unfortunately, 343 was in a stance because I know some people from 343. It was just in a spot where it had really bad management. Um, Especially around the time of Halo Infinite's like development cycle. Like it was a mixture of people wanting control when they necessarily didn't deserve that control, and developers wanting to do something they couldn't do that thing. I've been hearing that same story for years. So I think it was a mixture of bad management, which is a lot of those people are out the door now. So my hope
Yeah.
with a lot of those people out the door that those 30 ideas that was on that list could be re-explored. That's the optimistic side of me.
Well, just based on the amount, I would imagine these things still come up frequently, right? Like
Yeah.
game ideas and pitches and all this kind of stuff, right? So, but
I mean, we've seen some leaked ones in the past.
right.
So.
But then you have the issue where whatever the next big Halo thing is, whatever that is, takes so much fucking resources, right?
Yeah.
So it's such a priority. So I feel like it's not like necessarily just on 343 to do this.
I mean,
it's
even
like,
going back to like when 343 took over, they took over in like I think it was like 2009 or whatever, right after Bungie was reached, they took over. And at that time, Microsoft was shutting down all their game studios. They were closing Lionhead, they were canceling Fable. Like Microsoft was in a place where like we don't support Xbox anymore, and it took them years to build up to that. So it's like even if there was pitches, they probably didn't have the funding because Microsoft was like, you're making Halo 4. You're not making anything else. You're making Halo 4.
Yeah.
right.
I mean,
This is probably why like Bungie didn't want to make another Halo after 3. They're like, this was our trilogy, or I guess Reach was technically their last one, but I don't even think they wanted to do Reach. From what I was hearing, like around Halo 3, and like interviews and stuff, they were like, we're done with Halo. We did our trilogy. We're good. And Microsoft like, nah, you think you trying to leave? Nah, you got one more game. So they left. So 343's their main job is, to funnel that. But I feel like Microsoft is just in an interesting position overall. It always stems from what Jasper just said with how they treated Fable in the past, with Lionhead Studios, and how they really controlled that studio to the point where they can only make Connect games. And when they're like, "Oh, your job is to make Connect games and all this different stuff," they really controlled that studio to the point where they just died. You can't let that studio breathe and be who they were meant to be. And they're like, "Okay, let's be hands off," and then you're too hands off. You get the situation with Redfall. Like, "Oh, I didn't know this game. What happened with this game?" So they still have to find that balance with what happened in the
and
past.
that
with,
was
like,
the thing with like,
constraining them.
because there was a leaked project like a few years ago where they were making a Halo Mega Bloks game or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that like,
Yeah.
and we've seen like leaked gameplay and stuff like that. It looked like it was fairly close to being finished, but I think what happens is they just was like, well, we're making MCC now, so screw the Mega Bloks project because we're redoing all the fucking Halos in one thing. Like we got to focus on this, and we saw that MCC had issues, so it's like I think it also comes back to that priority issue in 343 where it's like we only have so many people that can make a game.
Right. So is this it, like, because we've gotten some spin-offs before, like with Halo Wars, right? Make a new one, please. Fucking love Halo Wars, right? But it's been a long time since we've gotten that. The Halo Wars 2 came out when? Forever ago. But they had to go outside to get help to make that game, both of them.
Well, the first one was Microsoft Studio. It was Ensemble. I think Microsoft owned them.
Right. But I still think Relic or Creative Assembly helped on it. I'm pretty sure. I'm not
Was that the
100%.
sequel or was it the first? Yeah, so I remember seeing an Ensemble Studio.
Yeah, the first one was Ensemble, and then they shut down like again around
Oh,
that
okay.
2010
Or yeah, around that
era.
time. And then you had the second one, which was Creative Assembly.
Yeah.
Yeah, which they have a pretty
Which-
close relationship with.
Yeah, that's Sega. That's a Sega-owned studio, right? I could have swore Relic helped on the first one potentially.
Yeah.
I'm not.
They may
100
have.
That's also a Sega studio, isn't it?
Yes, I would have to look it up. I could be wrong on that, but I think so. But anyway, besides the fact, whatever okay. Halo Wars 2, they had to get help on that, right? So,
Yeah.
they have now had a spin-off franchise, right? That was like maybe not as successful as they wanted, because it's not as popular of a genre, or also the second one came out in an era where Xbox was a little down anyway as well. But I feel like that genre has made so many strides now within console gaming. Age of Empires is still popular on Xbox and all these other things. Like, I feel like they have some potential if they decided to do this again, but like then they got to go get somebody to make it, So I feel like the onus isn't just on 343, because making a big Halo game, like they got killed for not having Forge at launch, not having co-op at launch, online co-op, because when they make a mainline Halo game, which I still think they need to do, right? Like, it takes so long and there's so many things that they have to do right. And if they don't have something in it, they get absolutely annihilated. So resource allocation there, yeah, the 343 is going to be swarmed with having to maintain and work on the big project. So, but is it a thing to where Halo is so protected by 343 and Microsoft to where they don't allow these things to be made from other developers, right? Because like, that's our IP, right? That's our game. We don't want to let somebody else mess with this, or because I could imagine that there would be lots of devs that would kill to make something in the Halo universe, right? Like tons. Why wouldn't
I'm sure
you?
some Activision devs would love to do something.
Yeah,
with Halo.
there's teams out there that would probably love to do something and just like unleash the reins a little bit, let some creative stuff happen.
I mean, is it a thing where like 343 at the end of the day has a final say? Like if these projects are a go, like maybe someone
Well,
like another team
you
outside of
remember,
Microsoft.
like,
That's what I'm like getting at is like, and maybe 343 was a little jealous because they don't want to see another studio kind of outshine them with like a game, maybe
right?
if they get the final
That's the
say.
politic thing I was talking
Yeah.
about. Like,
Yeah. And then remember,
that's why I
Bonnie
hope
Ross
it's not
was like
happening.
the steward of the whole franchise and IP. So I think anything Halo ended up going back to ultimately her, right?
It's
At the
kind of like
time.
how Star Wars does it, where like Lucasfilm has to approve like whatever Star Wars character
Yeah.
lore you're getting ready to make. Like you got to run it through them.
Whereas something like Helldivers is like, there's no IP there. They're just like, doing whatever the hell they want. So I don't know. I feel like they need to be let loose the reins a little bit, because we know 343 want to do stuff themselves. Maybe they can grow some other teams, do that. Let them do kind of what Obsidian does, right? Multiple projects, multiple different things. Or you could have other teams form out of the ashes of, or not ashes, but out of those teams from 343, where they start other studios based on that. Or you could also have other teams come from the outside and work on stuff.
E-Rank said, this sounds like Todd Howard and Fallout, so bummed we never got another new Vegas game. I feel like it could be a similar situation where like it's just teams like what I guess Obsidian, who made New Vegas,
Yeah.
like people love that and they're like, yeah, this team is way better than the Bethesda team, and it just caused this thing like, oh word, you guys think that? Well, we're not gonna let them make another, or it just turns into this weird politic game where the gamers can get kind of punished. But you're like, I don't care who makes the game, I just want to play play the game.
Yeah.
I hope that's not the case, but just from my experience, it's probably like 60-70% the case.
And also, again, it's back to that 343 thing where like 343 is not going to make side projects because they have to make sure the main line is best as it can be, and they've always been a letdown.
I mean, they did say they're starting to work on a new one, right? Like from their last podcast. So
They are. I just hope they don't overpromise with anything, and like I feel like maybe the next one people will like
10 times the detail.
Yeah, it's like
this time you could go
no,
outside the
100
ring
players.
there's no game franchise that has asked for at launch and to have everything under the fucking sun like Halo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in this day and age, like it just has such high expectations because it has this like place in people's minds and hearts of this nostalgia of all those times where, like, you're right, everybody wants it to be like Halo 3 or like, you know, and have all these things. It has to have everything that every Halo game's ever had all in one. You know what I mean? Anytime they make a new one. And it's pretty daunting for them because no games come out with all of this shit anymore.
Like imagine Helldivers with theater
Well,
mode.
MCC did, it just didn't work.
Well, yeah. Well, that's another Halo game. But, you know, so like, you got to have campaign co-op. You got to have online co-op. You got to have split screen. You got to have Forge. You got to have, you know, a great campaign. You got to have replayable campaigns. You know, you got to have like a great online. You got to have a lot of maps. You got to have, you know what I mean? There's like it's got to be good for esports too. Like
that's why you make a spinoff game. You don't have those expectations. It's a horror game.
Exactly.
Oh, cool.
It's like it has to check every fucking box under the sun, man. And if it doesn't, if it's missing one or two things or whatever, people are like, "Oh, what the fuck are they doing?" You know what I mean? This is like travesty. I can't believe they're doing this to Halo. Oh my God. They're like, it'll be there in like a few months. You know, it's like, oh, this is unacceptable. Never again. Take it away from 343. But like, really no other game even is, people are even asking to have all of this stuff at launch, but it's because of the history of Halo, right? And I'm not saying that should be any different, you know, but to make that, it's hard to go out and do a bunch of other shit too. You know what I mean? So,
You're saying The Last of Us should have factions?
Right. Like, still, what that was literally supposed to be with the game.
It's
and
coming.
It just never came out.
Yeah, people should have been more mad about that, but I feel like the PlayStation fan base, they're just.
But again, it comes to that communication that Microsoft and their teams have always had with the community. Like PlayStation, like who are they? PlayStation community could yell at them, but no one's gonna fucking reply to them or listen. So
yeah, they're like,
why yell?
Factions, and then this empty reply, or PlayStation leaves you on red, and you're like, okay,
yeah. But like even the Helldivers, right? Everybody's like, oh man, like Halo could do this. But like if a mainline Halo game came out, right? Because this is like their only project. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm trying to focus this on like side projects and side things to do, because people are talking about Helldivers being like, why can't we get this from Halo? It's so fun. Like Halo's dated now because of this and all this shit. It's like if Halo came out with the amount of content that Helldivers 2 has, with the limited scope of it would be utterly destroyed. It would be the worst game on earth, right? It would be a 4. But no, because the expectations are different, people are like, oh, what is this fun game? And playing it's fucking amazing. You know what I mean? So there is definitely room for those kind of experiences with Halo, but they also are going to have different level of expectations when they come out. And maybe that's part of the fear.
I wonder if you could get away with having like some of 343 work on a project like that, release the game, not say it's in the Halo universe until after it's released.
Probably good.
Like I think that would be the way to go about it. Although it would be kind of hard. Like people would be like, "You sure this isn't in the Halo universe?" Looking at it and stuff like that. Like that armor looks familiar, but
you would have to like hide it,
stay
maybe like an older timeline or a future timeline or something. So like where armor and like overall like structured design is different enough. But then like at the end you'd be like, you see a Halo ring or some shit. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you do it from like maybe a forerunner perspective or just a human perspective or just someone, and then the whole game you're just like, oh, what's going on, and then they reveal like a ring, like
Yeah.
that's
Like you get on like an alien planet, like and have like you or like a human perspective, and like there's like a mystery, like it's like the first time the Covenant's like on that planet, but you don't know. It's like through the whole game, like you're just playing as the human, like trying to figure out that mystery or whatever, and it's like
a farmer.
yeah.
Or like, what about this, right? What if you market the game entirely under like a code name, right? Project Space or whatever, and like you keep building this hype and you keep showing the gameplay, keep showing people what all this stuff, right? And then like the last like official launch trailer, and like let's say the game comes out right after the summer showcase, right? Like you have the game come out and like 2 days after summer showcase or that night or whatever on purpose. You schedule it that way. That event, you have the official like launch trailer, and then it's revealed blah 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 Halo, right? People would lose their shit, and in a good way.
But it's like the second you say it's Halo, you set that expectation. That's where fuzzy
But
point is like you have to hide that until the game's out.
Right, but that's when it launches, right? Like, so you have the 2 years of marketing and the games media hyping it up. You have people talking about this new IP and all these other kind of things. Like, what is it? What's this game? This looks amazing and shit. And then you drop it right then and there at the right before the game's launch. Like, this is in the Halo universe, and then the Halo community would fucking go ape shit. Like, obviously, depending on if they actually made a compelling game that we all actually got excited about in the first place, which is a huge, not a given. But let's say that happened, right? Then that would be cool. So I kind of agree with Fuzzy. Hide that shit, like, so you don't have the chance for the overcriticalness for years. And
yeah, I mean that's why I feel like Hi-Fi Rush did well, honestly, because the critics could not get to it. It was already out.
Yeah.
So they didn't have time. Like, well, this is the Xbox game. Some tried. I think Metro and some other review sites like, well, we wanted to give it a higher review, but because of Xbox's slate this year, we decided to down the score. So like they couldn't really do that with Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
So if they did that with Halo, it would be like, yeah. And I mean, I kind of want to get to the super chat because that kind of relates to what I just said, but.
Yeah. We'll get to the super chats real quick, and then we'll mix up the conversation.
I could see them like. I always pitch like the Halo ODST like horror game from id, like in like a Doom 3 style. Like you could hide that so well, where all you see is like in the early trailers is just like a gun like walking through a dark hallway. You never see enemies. Like the flashlight kind of lighting up the hallways. Like you could hide that up until release, like because you wouldn't have to show any enemies because it'd all just be dark, like military, like clearing rooms and shit.
Yeah. Well, the gun. You would have to hide it pretty well if you stay away from the Halo type guns, I guess, because Halo has such a unique like.
But that'd be kind of cool too, though. Yeah, if there was little like hints and like that the community try and pick that shit apart and see like, is this in the Halo universe and like
PPT style?
Yeah, and people are
like,
what's going on?
With it's still like a futuristic kind of game. So you're like, maybe they're just like taking inspiration from Halo or something.
Yeah.
That'd be sick, man.
Yeah. So we got Doc50 member for 8 months. Appreciate you. Says Halo RPG. Man, absolutely. Why not?
There's
like
that Halo MMO Project Titan or whatever I think it was called.
Yeah,
they got canceled.
There's so much Halo stuff's been canceled in the past. Anonymous Boss member for 7 months. Appreciate you, Anonymous. Says, I thank you guys for keeping Halo alive. Halo 2 number 1. Yeah, appreciate you. Halo will always live on in my heart forever and ever and ever. Jax82 $5 super chat says, there is no making right how bad Halo 5 can't ever replay that game again. What's weird though to that though,
I got stuff to say about that.
Everybody was saying that about Halo 5 when it came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now, but a lot of people are now saying like, oh, remember how great Halo 5 was? Why can't Halo Infinite be like Halo 5? You know what I mean? Like,
they're wrong.
I agree. I like I actually like the Halo 5 campaign kind of, but like the multiplayer felt a little bit more sluggish for me. But everybody loved the Halo 5 multiplayer, right?
The multiplayer was all right. The campaign was
Yeah.
ass.
Halo 5 and Halo Infinite had a great campaign and it has great multiplayer. It just lacked the ongoing content for a free to play live service game, right? And it was missing some of the other features at launch.
The only Halo game I did that on was Halo 4. When Halo 4 came out, I was like, I don't like this. And then a couple years later, I was like, actually, you know what? Halo 4 is actually really good.
Halo 4 is fucking great, man. Oh my god! And the graphics they were able to pull off for the 360. You go back
I
and
still
play
don't know
Halo
how they-
4 now, and it's like, holy shit, this game's fucking beautiful, dude. It is. It holds up today. If you go play Halo 4 today on like an Xbox Series X.
Honestly, I think Halo 4 is the best Halo that 343's ever made. Like,
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
I think like when we talk about like the expectations for people, like I always say this, but I feel like it needs to stick with people. The worst Halo is still better than so many games out there. That's just my opinion or whatever, but the worst Halo game that 343 has made is still better than a lot of shooters out there in my opinion. Like how
Yeah.
they present the game. I would say like in terms of the story, Halo 5 was very weak. It was I think it was because of that how they built it up, or multiple reasons why Halo 5 story was weak. The hunt the truth thing where you're like, oh, that's what the story's gonna be. No, when you play the game, it's nothing like that. But the worst Halo game is still like very, very well.
It's
done.
fantastic, fucking great game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it'll get a 6.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. Like if you
Because-
compare let's say Halo Infinite, it came out how it is right now, and they released it, and then Helldivers 2, and I feel like they would make
But
Halo
that's like
Infinite,
Call of
lower.
Duty as well, right? Like the people are giving that this new Call of Duty a 4, but like if you compare it to other fucking games, like come on, you know?
It's
like-
so weird. Like that's an interesting discussion to get into, just like how people's expectations affect review scores. And like, oh, Helldivers 2 is a new IP. It's I've been waiting for like a PlayStation game. So
I love
even
that
though I can't get
PlayStation's doing
in-
games as a service live service now, but then like
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, why the fuck are you doing games as a service live service? You know,
It's
this
so
is a travesty to gaming. I think this whole genre should die. Right? Oh, but Helldivers, hey, this is awesome that they're really branching out and trying something new in the gaming
Well,
space. You
I
know,
like live service
Oh,
games.
yeah.
Like
PC day and date makes a lot of sense.
it's so
It's-
weird, man. I can't with like mainstream media. They
so
flip flop.
contradictory every fucking thing they say, man. Come on.
Then like it was so weird because I seen a IGN. It was like a sponsored ad or something that was they had a sponsored ad for Suicide Squad, their review, and then right under it was like Helldivers 2, and their review of like Helldivers. I was like, this is so interesting to me. That you're sponsoring or paying for ads just so people could click on your Suicide Squad review thing. That was weird. But to have a whole thing, a whole campaign against Suicide Squad, kind of talking about like what you just said, Matt, like where live service games should basically die, having Suicide Squad on the cover and then immediately praising like a live service game. And if you were to actually like dive into what Suicide Squad has done as a live service game, it's like
And they fixed the fucking in game though. I paid $70 fucking
I
for this
mean-
game. Can you fix the fucking in game?
Yeah.
Like it's been like 3 weeks. Fucking make a goddamn patch or say something, please.
For sure.
I mean, you can have your complaints, right? But out of all the other live service games, it's like it's not egregious in terms of like pay to win or anything like that. It's like the way they handle the monetization compared to other live service games. It's like they handled it pretty well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
For sure. We got a $10 super chat. It's just, fuck. Super chat. Super chat. What language or voice is that? Or accent? I don't know. Oh, we got the super chat from Anonymous Boss. Thank you so much. Says, if they remake in the future any Halo game, that would be crazy good and will pull even more people to Game Pass. Then again, 343 could launch Halo 6. Would you guys get super hyped for a Halo 6? I'm gonna get fucking super hyped for anything Halo, but I want more other things too, right? But like they need to do both. You know, like it's such a huge popular brand that they're so reliant on only the main line lately that it's cutting short the opportunity of the entire universe's potential that they've built.
I'm hoping when the Age team finishes the remake of Age of Mythology, I'm hoping that they tackle Halo Wars and that they become like a Halo Wars team. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Fuck yes. Let's go.
Yeah, I remember I think you were in that chat. I don't know where I was, Mav, but I was like starting to pitch this random concepts that the Xbox could potentially do to raise Game Pass subscriptions. I was like, what if they did Game Pass exclusives? And I was just like pitching stuff because I was like, if they want to increase their numbers, like and bring people over, my simple answer is just like have games like a Halo 6 just keep dropping and you just stay consistent with your games. Like just have a bunch of games just drop on the Game Pass. That's my answer. But if they were looking at it from this weird financial lens, like in the future, could we see a game like Halo 6 be exclusive to Game Pass? I feel like that'd be really weird. But they are really hinging on Game Pass as their primary business model. So but yeah, I would be super hyped for Halo 6. It's weird to even call it Halo 6 cuz Infinite was technically like a reboot.
yeah, I think they're gonna probably do another subtitle name because they've been kind of going away from that Halo 5 Guardians, and you went Halo Infinite, and then it's like
Yeah, it seems like they're getting rid of the numbers. I'll still probably call it Halo 6. But yeah,
well, it'd be Halo 7.
well, yeah, sorry,
How
Halo
about
7.
how about Halo Finite?
I
Instead
don't
of
like the
Infinite.
sound of that one because
No.
that sounds like something bad for Master Chief at that point.
Right.
I was thinking they were gonna go more open world.
I don't know,
mean-
like 3-Bit probably remembers this, but like back in the day, like when I was a kid and like all the Halos were coming out, like there was like a rumor going around, like since there were 7 Halo rings, that Bungie was only going to make 7 Halo games or whatever.
Oh yeah. What was going on around the Bungie
Yeah.
forums at the time? Yeah, I mean, we'll see if that would be funny if they actually stop at 7. Like, wow, my kid self is right. I don't even know where they would take the next Halo. Honestly, like, I guess.
I mean,
that's kind of a thing off of Infinite.
They just got to continue where they left off. There's so much like that they haven't finished from Halo
You would just
Infinite.
think they just add an expansion campaign to like Infinite at this point, but they got rid of their campaign plans for Infinite, which
Yeah, I'm
did
thinking maybe they're
but-
taking the story plans they had from there, putting it in the next game, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. Also, there's gonna be questions like the engine, because like, are they using Unreal Engine 5? They're gonna be throwing away slip space, like all these other kind of things, because that was a huge conversation before, right? Personally, I don't care what engine they use as long as it feels and plays like Halo. If it's a mainline Halo game, right?
But you love Unreal Engine, Mav, so they should use that.
I don't honestly give a shit, right? But I don't think every game needs to be made in Unreal Engine, because I think that engine is proven to have just as many problems as any other fucking engine out there. Right?
Yeah.
It is maybe has more developers know how to use it, but not a lot of developers know how to use it well. That's been proven. So some better than others. I just feel like whatever engine they're using, just master it. And then we're going to get the best experience. But don't use something if you can't make it feel like Halo in the core Halo game.
Mm-hmm.
Like it can't feel generic, whatever. And maybe they can recreate that feeling. But the spinoffs, I don't give a shit what they use. Like there's so many other things they could do, and so many engines that would be amazing to see. Like, could you imagine if like Bethesda Game Studios made, you talk about a Halo RPG, made like a Halo RPG with that? You can grab everything in the fucking world. It'd be insane. It's not gonna happen, you know. But like, there's so much potential. Like Doom is completely different, you know, so fast paced and like fluid and stuff with the movement and motion. And if you could do a horror game based on that, like it'd be nuts. You know, you could look at the Coalition could do something crazy like
Yeah.
with cover
Well, the
based
ID Tech
shooter
engine,
Halo. Like, oh my god,
with,
dude.
with Indiana Jones, I was wondering what the ID Tech engine would look like for Indiana Jones game, and I was like, okay, I could see like the smoothness and stuff translate over for a Halo game. Like with Unreal Engine, the good thing about Unreal Engine is it's versatile, so you could do a lot of different things with it. But I feel like where the problems come from is people just take Unreal Engine as it is, and they're like, oh, and they don't really optimize it to a specific kind of experience. Like, and I feel like that's where a lot of problems come from.
I just hope with the
Um,
next Halo, they go back to like an older art style because I hate the new art style. Like ever since Halo Wars 2,
you don't
like
like
they went.
I love Infinite's
It's just
art
like
style.
too like flat to me. I don't know. Like
Mm.
I like the older art styles better, but
Like Halo 3-ish
yeah,
art
like Halo
style.
3, Halo 2, like that kind of art style.
Did you
Like
like
I feel like
Reach
that.
or
Yeah, Reach was great. It's just like that new like ever since Halo Wars 2 that when they added the banish, it's all like flat metal
okay, yes.
panels. It's
Yeah,
like
I see that.
and
I
it's
don't
like
like
all
that.
red. It's like what the fuck is this? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
get
feel like
you.
why they did that, Jasper, is because they try to differentiate the Covenant more, and
Yeah,
it has certain
and it
silhouettes.
helps
Like,
save with resources because they don't have to be as like
yeah,
real
but
or
I don't.
whatever.
I agree. I do like the art style, but that I agree with. I always thought the Banish kind of looked. I don't know. I feel the same way too with the Banish specifically, but I like Chief's suit in Infinite.
Yeah, his suit's cool. It's
His
just
suit's cool.
I
But yeah.
want to get one spinoff from each of you that you want to see. Start with Fuzz when he stops petting his cat.
whoa, was that code for
Um,
something?
Put the pussy down, Fuzzy.
well, I'm debating on two different ones, but since we're talking about Halo, I'll mention the Halo one first. The other one's a Gears one.
Okay.
I've always liked the idea of the flood horror game. That to me seems like something they should try, and it doesn't have to follow the normal Halo traditional features and things like that. Just make a horror game that's like almost like a Dead Space with the flood kind of thing, and go from there. But the one game that I really want to see as a spinoff of a franchise series is a Gears of War in the like remember the game Ascent, that twin stick shooter that
Yeah.
was like a cyberpunk type thing. I want a Gears game like that. Not a true Gears tactic, but like a twin stick shooter, but in the Gears universe. I'd love to see something like
The
that as
active
well.
reload system would work really good actually in that kind of game too, right? Because it's been done in that genre a lot.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Those are my two.
Right on, man. I love it. What about you, 3-bit?
Man, Fuzz kind of so some of mine, but I feel like with a flood horror game, maybe taking some Alien Isolation type vibes to it, like maybe you don't have weapons or something that could be interesting take on it. Like maybe you're a marine on a ship, the flood is sort of taking over. That'd be, and you just maybe can hear their heartbeat or something. I don't know. I like Alien Isolation, so I feel like that lens could be cool. But so that's one spinoff I always kind of had in my brain of where they could take it, especially if you read maybe you play a Sergeant Johnson. There's a whole book I can't remember the name of right now, but Sergeant Johnson is kind of like on the cover of it, and that could be kind of. I feel like I'm trying to get Jasper to read my brain because I'm sure maybe he knows what I'm talking about.
Was it Alpha Base?
Maybe Alpha Base.
With that
think that's
hat,
what
you
it's
kind of
called.
look like Sergeant Johnson right now because it's kind of like the color hat, you know.
All right, Marines.
All right, Marines.
A game from Sergeant Johnson's perspective would be dope.
Yeah.
So maybe that is the horror game, like you play as Sergeant Johnson. I don't know. I don't think that would be annoying to have like 6 hours of Sergeant Johnson, like, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have a good time with that, but maybe that wouldn't fit the horror setting, so maybe not. My second sort of idea that could be a good spinoff
Coffee
would
talk
be
on the Spirit of Fire.
Halo dating sim.
a Halo dating
Yeah,
sim.
you got two
Cortana,
Marines
AI.
in space. They meet each other for the first time while waiting to be dropped on a
Hey,
mission.
I'm heading to the Cairo pod. I won't get out for 100 years. What are you going to do in 100 years?
Yeah, they realize they might be
Honestly?
both about to die, so can they have enough time to find love before that happens? You know.
Honestly, you guys got joking, but
this is what the
like if
3-bit would
someone
make.
was like stuck on a ship or something, and then like you're stuck on that ship forever, just floating in space, but all you have is like your AI companion, your other companions or something as a dating sim. No, there's an interesting story there. But no, you guys got to pitch. I'm like, no, ODST, like some sort of ODST third person game, kind of like Helldivers, would be sick to me. I want like a third person Halo game, honestly. Or a open world sort of kind of like Jedi Survivor. Where it's like maybe sections and you go on different planets. That would be dope. Maybe you're with other Spartans and you just go to different planets. You're investigating through Oni or something like that. Through like a third person lens. That would be awesome. Maybe you're finding AI. I don't know, something like that where it's like a third person sort of action adventure game, but in a Halo universe. That could be cool. Like a lot, and Meek said like Halo and Helldivers 2 universe. That could be cool. Like I haven't played Helldivers 2, so it like, but from what I've seen, it's very much how I imagine like an ODST type game. I'm thinking more like story based kind of third person-y thing, but Helldivers 2 seems to be more, you guys could tell me if I'm wrong. It seems more like multiplayer, like horde based. I'm
Mhm.
thinking more story based. So I don't know.
Yeah,
But those are
I dig
those
it,
are
man. All right, make your pitch, Jasper. Like
So,
Phil Spencer's
aga-
listening.
Yep. Again, Fuzzy kind of stole mine. I do like to. I've always kind of pitched the ODST Flood horror game. Kind of slower pace too. But since he took that, Halo MMO would be cool, but I don't think we're getting that. So I'm going to go a different route entirely, and I'm going to kind of expand off the story element that 3-bit was wanting. And I want an Arbiter story leading up to the events of Halo 2, where he was stripped of the rank Arbiter. Like, so you tell that story.
I wish I said that. That's dope.
Yeah, that'd
that's
be
dope.
cool, man. So many stories to tell, bro.
You got two. What's your other one?
We got 2.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
each picked
you gotta
2,
do
so
2.
why the fuck not? Let's go.
Okay. Well, this is, I guess, kind of. I want a more grounded, like, element to Halo. Like, playing as Master Chief and Spartans is always cool, but that's why I like the ODST kind of thing. Maybe even like do a Marine kind of story. Just like I want something super grounded where it's like kind of more realistic that you can relate to more. I don't know what that is. I haven't really thought of genre because this was kind of leaped on me with pick 2 right here. So like I'm just gonna kind of leave it at just make me something more grounded within the Halo universe.
What you were saying earlier, Jasper, where you were when we were kind of talking about Halo, like you do a game that's not like people don't know it's Halo, and we were just kind of talking about what that could look like. Where you're like, is that Halo? That kind of fits into your mold of what that could be. Just be like a Marine or a farmer on a planet, and you just like the Covenant. I think you said the Covenant.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to like see that interaction with like the human insurrections, like on the planets where like they're first starting to learn about like, is this an insurrection or whatever? Kind of like how Reach started off, where it's like we're going here. Is like, is it insurrectionists? It's like I don't know, and then they find out, oh shit, it's the Covenant's here. Like,
yeah,
give me more of that, like before the Covenant War.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's like timelines
3?
and stuff to all this shit, like Star Wars.
hope
That's
3
what I'm
for 3.
saying. Like, there's so much that you could do with this. All right, so for me, first off, just keep Halo Wars a thing. I'm gonna count it as an already existing franchise. So just continue with that. Don't let it die. Like I think the next one has a lot of potential now, especially with as much access as people have to the games. But right, first off, I was trying to think about this, and I feel like one thing Halo needs is other mainline characters for games to be excited about, right? Because like you have Master Chief, but like if there was other spin-off franchises, like, and this is something that Star Wars has done pretty well, right? Like with
they tried that with Buck, and
but
put him in
even
Halo
with the
5,
games, you know what I mean? But like, but Buck, people know the name, like Halo fans, like I feel like that worked for ODST. They brought him back, you know, but he was kind of a complimentary role. He should have been the leader there. I felt like
they put Locke as the
yeah
captain or whatever.
I think it would have like served better to the audience or whatever. But like, if you did something interesting now to where you had a new mainline game, but like twist the genre on it too. Okay, so here's what I'm going with this. Okay, make a like spy espionage like Halo game, okay, where you're like infiltrating ships but trying not to get detected, okay, but you're like some new character,
like Oni,
like it's like a special Oni agent that's like with maybe modifications, like a different kind of a Spartan or something, or like super soldier that they have made specifically for like espionage. You know what I mean? And then like your job is to go and try and get information to see like what the Covenant's up to by infiltrating these ships and doing different stuff. Like I could imagine there being some badass stories you could really tell and lean into both the Oni side and also the Covenant side with lore going on there by doing a game like that, but also gameplay wise it would be completely different because like you're not going in there just to wreck shop, you know, you're going there to try and stay undetected because the goal would be then for them to not change their plans because not knowing that you found out what they're up to, right? So, you know, like this remain undetected, not know who's responsible, all that kind of shit. Like
I picture that Modern Warfare ending, Mav, with your story where like they betray you or something at the end, like haha, you've done your mission.
Right, like some crazy shit, like, and then maybe you find out that they keep there's a spinoff or a sequel, but find out that you're a clone. Yeah, you're a clone each time of the same person, right? Because that's something they've done each time with Halo, also, and then what if like overarching long-term storyline, you start to realize that Oni has been what they've been doing to you all along. So you're trying to also like solve that puzzle because, you know, Oni's kind of evil as well, right? So like there's so many cool things you could do with something like that. Like writers would have a fucking field day, right? First off. But then also gameplay wise would be refreshing for Halo. And you could be in lots of different kinds of environments, and you could really focus on the graphics and the detail too, to like really bring some of those moments to life in that kind of game. So that's one idea, right?
Was that third person?
Yeah, third person. Yeah, I think third person because of the sneaking elements around ships and stuff like that. Like I'm thinking of like Sam Fisher, fucking, you know what I mean? Like Metal Gear Solid, you know, but Halo kind of in a way. Like it's just.
That just sounds like like it'd be good at like Hunt the Truth type game.
The thing is with that, like for some reason I just picture that genre as like one of those like Metroidvania style things where you're like sneaking into a room or shit, and I don't want that.
Yeah,
like
it would be
like
Metroidvania.
more Splinter Cell.
It'd be more Splinter Cell, Sam Fisher, or it'd be more like Metal Gear, like Solid Snake style thing. But like this specially designed character, you know what I mean? Like. It could be amazing.
Suicide Squad, kill the Master Chief.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, God, it'd be great, dude. So that's one idea.
Oh, like a Batman Arkham game like that?
Yeah, but Arkham, Batman Arkham, that the original, the first one, that was actually a Metroidvania game.
Yeah, there was a lot of stealth elements and
yeah. But
I just mean like the more side-scrolling, like flat ship, like where you have like box rooms and it's like, let's go through this. That's what
I'm
I'm
talking
talking.
about 3D
Oh.
environment. You're really like that Arkham game. There you go. That's a good example. But okay, so that was one idea. The second idea, just fucking rip off Helldivers. Okay, I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, if you want to make it first person, to make it slightly different, that's fine. But just fucking rip it off. You know, just completely
what
make.
People say about Tomb Raider.
Make
or like Indiana Jones.
ODST divers, or I don't fucking know. Just like completely.
You could just call it ODST.
Well, but there was already a Halo 3 ODST, so you can't. I don't know. I think it'd be confusing. Like, so ODST.
Well, whatever the focus of that.
Yeah, whatever they would focus on the
line.
game. Yeah, there you go. Just fucking rip it off because it's so much fun, and you can do so many different things with that within the Halo universe. Like, we were just talking about all the different stuff you could do when we're playing it, and why not? You know what I mean? Like, do it bigger, do it better, go all the way. And with
what are the big bugs in Halo? I'm trying to think because there's a lot of like big. I guess they could make some.
Well, you could do
Well,
like
I mean,
Flood,
Halo,
or you know what I
yeah,
mean. You could banish. You could have the Covenant. You know, you could have.
I like Hunter.
even if you wanted to fight like actual monsters, like Halo Reach has that one monster in like the sniper level where it's like a big like ogre looking thing, and it's like killing
I
some
forgot
grunts.
about that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true.
But you do have those wasp things, you know, the bugs, you know, that they shoot the fucking plasma rifles at you or whatever. Or the
the buggers.
buggers,
The
yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the
Bug-
Covenant.
Buggers on the rooftop. Yeah, those things are annoying.
But you could have you could create new factions too, because like in the Halo lore, there's actually other factions too, where like there's pirates and stuff, and all these different kinds of things. Like there's from what was the Hunt the Truth was like jackal pirates, right, in space. Like that was pretty damn cool story, just hearing that and how terrifying that was from a human perspective about being on their ship and stuff like that. So man, it'd be amazing.
Your first game could basically be like a Hunt the Truth game, like because Hunt the Truth was all about like a journalist's perspective of him just covering the kind of like the fall of Master Chief and them trying to frame Master Chief for something he didn't do, and that perspective is so cool. And you can do a lot with that. I feel like they're taking elements of Hunt the Truth and putting it into the TV show. But yeah,
I mean, like all those trailers back in the day that we saw for like Halo 3 and like Reach and stuff, where you saw like the ODST, like where they would like live action trailers, like just make that, just do that.
Honestly, yeah.
But like I really think it's such a fucking cool idea to have like the spy thing, but like you're this super soldier that doesn't know, you know, they're gonna. What's the one movie with Vin Diesel, like the comic character with Bloodshot? Kind of like Bloodshot.
Oh,
like he wakens up. They send him out on another mission, right?
Wasn't that movie ass?
And then they erase. It's not that bad, but then they erase his memory and then put him back out and all that kind of stuff. But like, what if like they take the same kind of concept with this, and like you're a soldier but a spy, right? And you go out and you think you're doing things for all the right reasons and all this kind of stuff, and you know, at the end of it, when you complete your objective at the end of the game, you get killed, and then the next game you learn, and each evolving over time, you start to have this overarching story where you like start to become more anti-Oni and try and figure out what they're trying to do and how to get yourself out of the situation, right? Like without them knowing as well. Like you can do so much cool shit with that, man. It'd be amazing to see.
You could like, if you were going to do like an Oni spy thing, like that Oni spy could have like a personal like AI assistant or whatever, and like you kind of build that relationship, and then when you get turned on, you like the AI starts having feelings for you, so it's like then the AI is conflicted, like just have that like emotional connection with another character.
Yeah. Let's say kind of tease in Halo 4 of that connection between Cortana and Master Chief.
Yeah.
Actually, my third game. Sorry, I just got an idea, but Telltale. A Telltale type Halo game. I love Telltale type games.
3-Bit wants dating sim and Telltale.
Yep, give that to me.
I'll
play the heck out of both of those.
Yeah. Hey, why not? So going back to Helldivers a little bit though, like the reason this conversation kind of got brought up was because of the success of that game, and it's kind of like paying homage to Halo in a lot of ways, right? Um, that game has been a massive success on PC, right? Is this the first PlayStation game ever to launch day and date on PC? I
Yes.
think so, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And this has gotten there's Matt Piscatella had even put out a report or a comment on Twitter that he had to remove because people were like going apeshit crazy on him for just pointing out the fact that with even as big as a library that there is on Steam, like that the Helldivers 2 is the #1 game on Steam, like percentage wise for player base, right? But for
in the US, that's what
in
I
the
didn't
US.
like about Wave phrase that he only compared US to global PlayStation. Like, okay, whatever.
Right. On the PS5 or whatever, it was like number 6 behind a lot of the other, casual games. You got your Call of Duties and NBAs and Maddens and that kind of stuff, right? And I think he was just trying to paint a picture about like the audience on PS5, right? The typical stuff that's played there. With this being such a massive success for PlayStation, how come even though like the audience on PC is so much more diverse, right? Like how is this with so much even more games that PlayStation has, right? How is this #1 there so clearly? And it's a PlayStation game, but their own audience is still enjoying the game and playing it a lot, but like it's not like it would have been if it's on
Because
PC,
Halo people are playing Helldivers and not PlayStation people.
right? The multiplayer gamers, right?
Yeah.
Like that are into shooters and all these kind of things. So like, does it kind of tell us a little bit about the chances of success for any multiplayer exclusives that they have planned to launch on PlayStation?
Yeah. Look at
Maybe,
Foam
'cause-
Stars.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Foam Stars. I mean, it's not the first, right? I mean, you've had other games fail that were multiplayer oriented exclusives in the
Phone was
past.
always going to fail. Like I could have told you that.
Yes.
But they also had
Of
what was
course.
that driving game? The
Destruction All Stars.
Yes, Destruction All Stars. They had even back before then, like Cliffy B's Lawbreakers game launched exclusively on PlayStation.
That's because Cliffy B's overrated.
But that was even. But what I'm getting at is like, just multiplayer games that are exclusive to that platform have trouble finding an audience to persist, right? Now you have the obvious mass casual games that are just like, the most popular games out there, and that people just buy a system for, and they just buy whatever their friends are on and that kind of stuff, right? But those are like gamers that generally only play those games. You know what I mean? They're not branching out, looking at different things and all this kind of stuff, So Concord, right? Is that PC day and date? Have they
find
announced
out.
that?
No,
Not
if
yet.
I
they
think
said
they
that.
said it was like someone described Concord. It wasn't what I was expecting. It might have been fuzzy actually. We like seen.
I don't know if they've
something
said-
about Concord
No,
on
and
PC.
we know Marathon's gonna be right. That's Bungie.
Well, at least Xbox. I don't know if they've said PC on that, have they?
Oh, that's true. They may not do PC like right away, right? Because Bungie's done that in the past, right? Where they've waited on the PC version. But at least Xbox for sure.
It does PS5 and PC. It doesn't say day and date. It just says it's coming to PS5 and PC in 2024. So probably day and
Probably
date
day and
for
date.
Concord.
Okay. So
It's like a first-person ship type game, like Rogue or Squadron.
What?
And what about Fair
Isn't it
Games?
Concord?
Concord's a first-person shooter.
Is it?
Yeah. It's a PlayStation Showcase Concord, our new PvP multiplayer first-person shooter coming to PlayStation 5
PvP
PC.
multiplayer. Oh, okay, got it.
So what about Fair Games? Did they not?
And it said, I
It might
don't
be
know.
2025, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if they've said 2025. I think they just said it's coming. But
Alvin said Concord is confirmed PC day and date. Yeah. My point to this though is that these multiplayer games, I feel like the ones that succeed are going to succeed because of PC, not PlayStation, who they're supposedly being built for, which is interesting. Whereas I feel like over time, PlayStation has realized they need to branch out and do these more. Do you think they're going to see these results and be like, okay, we need to make more shit geared towards like PC audiences, right? Because like if this is a successful live service game, let's say Concord is successful and the ratios stay the same to where their own console audience isn't playing it anywhere near as much as the PC is, right? Let's say 80% of your recurring revenue from microtransactions and games and service games starts coming from PC. What kind of effect does that have on the decisions they make going forward, on the games they make, and also where to put them, right? So I think day and dates is going to be an ongoing thing going forward, but also long term. Like,
Yeah, I don't know
if
if
that's a pattern. That's going to be really
I don't
interesting.
know if Helldivers 2 taught them that lesson. I think that they've always been going this way. We've heard in the way they talk, they're like, yeah, we're expanding. We want PC and mobile to be another platform that we develop stuff for. So I don't think Helldivers necessarily taught them this lesson. I think they were always going this way. And I don't know if they necessarily changed the type of games they make because of this, because they've already also said that we want to expand into live service games.
But Jim
So I think
Ryan tried to change their mindset of thinking to making those type of games, but they
I'm just saying, I just don't know if I think
It's
they were
this
already
game,
going this way,
right.
is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if Helldivers 2
Yeah,
necessarily
but do you
taught them
think
this
they'd be
lesson.
But do you think they'd be surprised at the disparity of the popularity between the PC versus their own console?
I don't think they care.
For multiplayer, they've had other examples where they've probably seen this. Perfect example would be Returnal. Returnal sold 500,000 copies on PlayStation, and then I think they did another like 500,000 or 600,000 copies on PC when it finally came to PC. The co-op that they have in it isn't used as often as they would probably like, but when it was used, it was a handful of PlayStation, handful of PC people mixed together. So they probably saw that, having it where the game came out later probably didn't move the needle for them.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima is still not on PC, and it takes a little bit longer than you would probably think for some of the raids to queue for and stuff. But I think that game, not the game itself, but the multiplayer aspect that they added later, isn't doing anywhere near as well as it would if it was on PC right now. So I think Helldivers they were moving in that direction, like Jasper said, but I think Helldivers really puts the nail in the coffin kind of thing. Like, yeah, not saying every game will go day and date, but I always thought Bend Studios' new IP would be the one that would be their first, maybe single player that gets the experimental test treatment. But I think they'll probably start considering it more frequently, especially with like Wolverine at this point might be on the table, especially considering it's already on PC technically. But
he's kind of already playable on PC.
yeah,
But you're getting the narrative starting to shift, right? With like Colin Moriarty. I've always said games are coming to PlayStation and PC. Like, people are already sort of preparing for that to happen. I mean, PlayStation, just based on what the current CEO is kind of saying, that is the direction where PlayStation might be going. That's where the market is seemingly headed. Besides Nintendo, who are basically like, screw the rules, we do what we want. But Nintendo aside, PlayStation and Xbox, seemingly just PC and console, because it reaches different markets. PC market is vastly different from the console market. And console market is
once
stagnant.
you can hit more people, and then once you hit more people, you get that word of mouth spread easier. So it's like, that's what it's about at the end of the day, is like, the more different communities you can hit, the more that word of mouth is going to spread, the bigger your game's going to be. And we've kind of seen that over the last few weeks, especially with Power World and Helldivers. Like, those are some really good examples of that.
Psycho actually said something really smart in their DMs earlier, and we were talking about this kind of stuff, and like the transition of a lot of gamers to PC, right? And like like he felt like kind of COVID and maybe that all that extra money that kind of got influxed into people's hands and stuff. You saw people kind of go and get those 3070s and 3080s and 3090s and all those kind of things on those high end PCs, and the way that it's gone. I have a gaming PC now. Like before, I didn't. Pong does, right? Like, and you see more and more of these, like
And
people in the
especially
community
with
too.
COVID, like a bunch of job places gave like all their people like gaming laptops or whatever. It's like you go work
Yeah.
from home now. It's like
But like it just seems like PC gaming has become such a more popular thing among people. Not necessarily like it was always popular, but like among people who always shied away from it. It's growing into those audiences as well, to where you're starting to see like traditional like console gamers
yeah. I mean,
starting to
I've
move and play there.
I've kind of seen this trend like a lot sooner than I think most people have, because like all the people that I used to play Call of Duty with, like they went to fucking PC like 6 years ago. Like, and
Yeah.
once that Call of Duty community moves over, you know that there's a transition happening. It's like, oh, all the casuals are just fucking buying PCs now because like Tarkov came out. All this shit is like, okay, there's clearly a switch happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and yeah, I mean, it's a switch happening. It's happening sooner than people might be expecting. I don't think Helldivers 2, like Jesper's saying, is going to be the reason, but it was definitely like see what happened, sort of thing. But I mean, it's going to be definitely a shift in their model. A lot of PlayStation gamers, I feel like, they are the casual market, so um their purchasing habits are going to be different, I feel like,
But again,
from
those people are buying Madden, FIFA, and Call of Duty. They don't.
yeah, that's the casual.
yeah, and
I don't know if
so
they're going
it's
for
obviously not about the exclusive games like people claimed
Yeah.
about it, because they've been without a great pipeline of big exclusive games for a while, right?
I mean, it never was at the end of the
Yeah.
day. Like,
But it's been never more evident. Like
Yeah.
literally their current, or the CFO the other day said, "We have no fucking games."
I think
And
the only time
What?
I think the only time exclusives really matter is probably around launch. Like people are like, "Oh, that one game looks cool. I'll get that because that's
yeah,
the one game
get
that's
the
out right
early
now."
adopters,
Yeah.
like make a decision.
That's when you get your big
Yeah.
switches. And
Yeah.
But like he was like, we don't have a big major franchise game or whatever until April 2025, right? And then if like I had done the math looking back to where between December of 2022, because God of War came out in November of 2022, between December of 2022 and April of 2025, the only big major franchise game they would have had in that time span is Spider-Man 2. You're talking about a 2.5-year run with only one
Insomniac
major
really
first-party
bad.
franchise game, which is the games that they told everybody mattered, right? The games that they were like, these are why you come to PlayStation, all that shit. People aren't talking about it. People don't give a shit. People don't even care. Like, but yet Xbox, like, Xbox has no games forever, when they had way more than that. They had way more than that. But that was the conversation for so long, and that literally their CFO comes out and tells them straight to their face, "Hey,
We have no
we
games."
don't have any fucking games, guys. We're looking at it, and also we're bad at business."
I mean, again, like those people that say that, like they're clearly just watching the fake media like IGN, where like they just hear the fucking host be like, "Xbox has no games. What is their plan for 2024?" It's like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
this is the
Bro.
place that they get their news from. So it's like,
Yeah.
Right.
of course they're not gonna know.
So like, but nobody cares. Nobody talks about it, and the PlayStations are going to keep selling, right? So it's interesting where that conversation's always been a Xbox. Always, if only they have great, compelling games. You know what I mean? It's like, well, they've had
Okay.
great fucking compelling games last year.
Yeah.
And this year they have a lot coming out. The second half of the year, especially. People aren't hardly even talking about any of those games right now, and nobody's talking about how PlayStation hardly doesn't have shit. I mean, they don't have anything this year from the first party, like big. So really, it's like did that ever really matter?
Well, we'll
I
see.
don't
Once
know.
those, I
You
feel
know?
like the confirmation will be maybe when you see Indiana Jones, see what that conversation does. I don't know, but they haven't had, like you said, Mav, they haven't had a big game like that in a while. But it's because of how powerful PlayStation is as a brand and how much people
But
just
again, like
prefer it.
it always comes back to that point where like casuals, like they may occasionally pick up a Spider-Man or whatever, but throughout most of the year, they're playing Call of Duty 9 months out of 12, and then they may play Madden or fucking NBA for the other 3.
Yeah, and they
It's
play
like,
their Spider-Man for
yeah,
20 hours
2
out of the
weeks.
whole
Yeah.
entire
Yeah.
damn time. You know, they had, yes, exactly.
Yeah, true.
But Fuzz, do you think like the sea of, I mean, do you think people ever will kind of have a shift away from the status quo now with the console of choice, or like what does it take? Because Xbox has all this shit, PlayStation has nothing, and they literally come out and say that, yet conversation hasn't changed. Because I'm still listening to other shows and stuff, and people are like, Xbox just needs to have compelling games. I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, did last year not count for anything? Like, I don't understand.
People are like starting.
Well, they're
now.
in that other ecosystem, so they don't pay attention. So they completely ignore or downplay anything that Xbox releases just because. But for me, I think the biggest thing that's going to be the shift is if this next Call of Duty is next gen only, not cross gen like the previous ones have been, and they are full within their rights to market Call of Duty, start doing bundles of Call of Duty with their Series S and X, especially if they have the discless Series X this holiday. I think that's the way that they start bringing people to the fold.
If they do that, they need to market fucking Call of Duty coming to Game Pass like months before launch. Like they can't just do it like a week before. It's like, oh yeah, also Call of Duty's coming to Game Pass, like to try to get those pre-sales.
Yeah.
You need to market the shit. Like, don't worry about the pre-sales. You just need to market Game Pass for Call of Duty. Like if you're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, because
and it's
like there's so many people on the old or the previous gen console still. Like there's still people on PS4s, there's still people on Xbox Ones, and this next gen only Call of Duty is that type of game that people will be like, you know what? All right, I'll upgrade. Up, the price is good enough now. This is the game I've been waiting for, or this is a game I will get this box for, and then go from there. But you're right. Market Game Pass. Like I don't even know why when they did the partnership with GameStop, why they didn't have like demos about Game Pass at GameStop back when they first did that negotiation. Was that 2, maybe 3 years ago, when they kind of helped save GameStop, and they just did a demo weekend this past weekend or something. It's like that should be like every weekend, give out like 7-day Game Pass cards, test it out. You walk into a GameStop, you're going to hear about
With the
Game
purchase
Pass.
of like $5 or more, you get like a free 30-day trial or whatever, some shit like that.
Yeah, something along those lines. Like everybody that walks into GameStop is going to hear about Game Pass. I don't care if you're there to sell us back your Xbox or to pick up a Switch or whatever the case is. You're going to hear about Game Pass when you walk in that door, and that should have been something that Xbox either paid for or found a way to get that into their contract agreement or whatever for the front of the store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Jasper, you want to get tidbits ready?
Yep.
Appreciate it. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see what happens, in the future as this disparity of value becomes more apparent. One thing, as also the games become more increasingly available on PC for the PlayStation games, right? And all those kind of things. Like I feel like because of the expansiveness of the Xbox ecosystem, they're like in a better position like going forward, because like PlayStation, not a decline in console sales for PlayStation is way more impactful than a decline in console sales for Xbox.
That's their business model,
right? So like,
right?
and people don't really consider that because like they're so successful with it. They're like, well, why is there any concern? Because it's been so dependent on it. Like, what if there is a massive shift in that? And what do they do? How do they react if all of a sudden they're not selling as many consoles anymore, right? And all of a sudden their business starts to become way more successful on PC than even their own system for like their own first party games and stuff like that. Like then you see like even more shifting of the projects that get greenlit being those kind of games, right? As opposed to traditionally what was the past about the single player action adventure games, which were the console sellers, right? According to them. So
I mean, that's been the whole point of this whole Xbox backlash. That's
Right.
Microsoft's vision, is to try to distance themselves from the console market because they see it as a shrinking market. They need to expand beyond that.
but not abandon it, right? That's where the confusion is. Like people like say, like, oh well, if they're moving beyond that, that means that they're abandoning it. Whereas no, they're just less reliant on it, right? Like whereas PlayStation's so reliant on that, if there is an impact ever done to that, like what is their
They're less set
Yeah.
up for that.
so they,
But-
they need to get more set up for it, but at the same time, it's like because their model is so susceptible to the console space currently, like they're kind of also kind of like in a catch-22 situation as well.
Mhm.
But where Microsoft, that was forced upon them with Xbox. Like they just wasn't
So
selling.
they had to find something
they-
else,
they-
like during the Xbox One.
Right. They were like, let's branch out and figure something else out because we did all this and we're still not selling all that kind of stuff. PlayStation's like, well, we're so successful, but the market's capped. Right.
Like,
So
there's
how
only
do we,
what,
how do we
like
do this,
you're
but
fighting
not
over
affect what works? Also, it's a tough situation to be in sometimes when you're like you've been going down one successful road so long, but there's no room to grow there, right? And how do you grow out of that, knowing that whatever you do might cause a detriment to your original pillar that you've built up?
And we saw that Sony's
Yeah.
plan was to try to delay that as long as possible through the FTC court and stuff like that, because they need to play catch up. So
Yes.
the only way they could do that is to delay Microsoft as long as possible.
Which is why
Yeah.
things like when I was criticizing their subscription games model when they came out with a new tiered system and I thought it sucked ass, right? The not enough value, like when they're doing things like not putting their games date on PC and then branching out all these things whenever they're dipping their toes or they're half stepping, all these other things, been crazy critical over them because as consumers I'm looking at it like I want what's best for me and what's best for the value there, and they've been so protective of their box, right, to the point now where the industry is, at least big games industry, is moving past that point kind of in a way, and they're kind of like, oh shit, we need to make this move too, but we're like kind of a little late. And Helldivers 2, is like, should be proof to them of stuff that people have been saying all along, right? That
Yeah,
you need
I
to.
mean, we've been saying on this show that like something I've been kind of mentioning is which model will be successful in the end. If you're focusing on primarily console sales, as opposed to Microsoft, which is focusing on software and making sure people are in the
Mhm.
Game Pass and stuff like that. Which one's gonna win at the end of the day? And I was like, I'm not an analyst or something. I'm more so on the Microsoft side. Like I think that will be more successful. But who knows? And then now we're kind of seeing the turn of that where Sony's like, actually, yeah, we need to start
Yeah.
following the
And
market.
that's why you see Microsoft fighting so hard in these. That's why they joined Epic in that battle, is because Microsoft knows, like, if they just only focus on software, the risk is, well, people won't let us in their platform. So that's why they're fighting. Apple is like, make your shit open, so in the worst case scenario, we can still put our software wherever the fuck we want and make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
They want to make their own store, like, so they could be that app. You have your Apple store, you have your Epic, whatever. They want to be inside of the Apple store if possible. I mean, Apple's gonna make it as hard as possible. They're ready going around regulation. Like I think they lost a case, so they just changed the rules so it doesn't really.
Yeah. Epic's gonna have their own
um,
store soon. They're
They
working
already
on it
have
right
their
now.
PC game store.
No, I mean on
in
Apple.
the Apple.
Yeah.
Mobile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
they've come out and said that they're having on iOS there's going to be an Epic Game Store in there. So
Yeah, Microsoft said they're
um,
not doing it yet because of some regulate. Like it's still not beneficial for them because
right.
Apple.
Yeah, they still
upcharging.
want to keep pushing that. You know,
And I think that's a problem with like kind of a lot of these conversations that we've had in the past week is like all this stuff like through these like lawsuits and FTC documents, all this shit is connected in a bigger way that people like understand. Like
yeah, 100%.
People are just looking at it as like a small picture. It's like, oh, it's a console. It's only selling 50 million. It's like, no, it's way beyond that.
If you're asking me, like, okay, if I could pick on, you asked like which model's gonna be more successful or whatever, right? Like,
Mhm.
I feel like if I was to try and pick right now, I would say that the two most contrasting are Xbox and Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
And I think they both have a successful future, right? Where I don't want to be is dicking around there in the middle trying to figure shit out, right? And let, and not really go in what either direction fully or be too late, right? So I feel like for where PlayStation wants to get and what they need to do, because they're not like Nintendo. They're not making like a lot of profit on hardware and stuff as well, and they aren't this handheld device right now that's like going to be super popular for a long time, and it's also a less expensive device that's more obtainable, all this kind of stuff. Like Nintendo fills a different audience really than PlayStation does, but PlayStation,
The media's on PlayStation's side. I mean, you've seen how they reviewed the Portal, for example, which is like they reviewed it better than the actual native handheld devices, which to me is insane.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to go in one direction or other, the media will support them regardless. So that's why I'm like, just make up your mind.
But the thing is, I don't think PlayStation has enough loyalty to just buy everything like Nintendo does.
They can't,
and that's the problem, that I think PlayStation can't afford to take the Nintendo model because they don't have that support that like Nintendo fans do.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see like over time. Nintendo's live service is better than PlayStation has up to this point. Splatoon, Mario Kart, and all that stuff. Helldivers is really PlayStation's first game like this. That's made by them. That's been some kind of a success. So we'll see that continue, right? Going forward, and they're gonna learn from it and hopefully make more different variety of experiences that are compelling and release on PC and PlayStation, and still have a successful console, because that's one thing I don't want to see. I don't want to see PlayStation get out of the console space either, right? I don't want to see. I want to see Xboxes. I want to see Nintendos, and I want to see PlayStations. But I also want to see
if any of them drop out, it's like a bad day. Like because then
for everybody.
It's almost a monopoly at that point. And it's like fucking games are gonna be $200 in 10 years.
That's what people were saying. Was if Xbox dropped out and they're like, we're not making consoles anymore, PlayStation would be like, yes, because they would just up the charge of all their games.
PlayStation 6, $1,000.
Yeah. No one wants that. But if everyone, like Mav, you just saying the console thing, if PlayStation and Xbox, Nintendo were all just on your TV app and you just play and it's still 4K 60, do you still care about a console or no?
Yes, because I feel like they'll always will run better natively, and I'm an enthusiast, right? So like, if also having like access to have them like downloaded and other probably UI features and all that kind of stuff that you're going to get more from like a console experience that's going to be a little bit more less fluid and something that's like cloud-based or streaming-based. I feel like having a dedicated device, even if you are even accessing games in the cloud via that device eventually, will still give you added benefit. And I think it depends on like how much you value your time with the experience that you're putting in there, because I feel like the console and hardware space over time will become less and less, just generally because access is going to become easier. But the people that spend the most money are still going to be the core enthusiasts. Like they still make Blu-ray players, right?
Yeah.
For people that, I mean, they don't sell very well, but they still make them. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like there will be still an audience for console enthusiasts and hardcore gamers to have that best experience.
I think it's
for a
going
very
to
long
take
time.
it's going to be like how the handheld market is now, where it's a niche market and there's only a few million that sell for each brand. Like that's eventually what the console market will end up being,
So
is a
sad
niche
to think
market.
about, but I mean, that's where it's
It
headed.
depends. If the
Yeah.
experience is great, I don't give a fuck how many units they sell. You know what I mean? Like, as consumers, I feel like this is something that bothered me. I don't want to get in a whole nother fucking conversation. We got to do tidbits. But it was something that bothered me so much with the conversation about the Xbox going into like the business update event, was the concern over the brand's future and the corporation, and like the like I'm concerned about the future of the brand and the success and all this kind of stuff that was really going out there, to the point where consumers were advocating to be charged more money and to have less value to protect the company. And
that
like
was dumb.
that
for
didn't
me,
make
I
sense.
don't like, is Xbox third place in console sales? Yeah. And we can talk about the business and look at all that kind of stuff for what it is, but is my experience still fucking awesome when I boot up an Xbox and am I getting all these games that I want? And are they making all these games? Is Game Pass still there? Am I getting day and date and all that kind of stuff? Yes. Am I concerned about Microsoft? No. You know what I mean? Like,
They're in a very good spot. Like, if I got anything from that business event, like, there's a couple of things that you get like, oh, I don't like that or whatever. But like, if you're on Game Pass and stuff like that, that was the one thing I was kind of concerned about, like how they were going to take Game Pass if if they were going to start changing it or whatever. They're like, you're pretty set if you're a Game Pass subscriber with like Activision games and stuff like that, and that's kind of what I care about. I care about value proposition. I do care about like the future of the brand, because I'm like, where's my money essentially going and things like that. But I mean, consoles are here to stay. And cool.
Yeah, and you have really like stupid takes out there, idiots and stuff that just say things like Game Pass destroyed Xbox and stuff. You see that go around at times, and it's like, it makes no damn sense, because like, as a consumer, it's just a different access point to your games, and anybody that says something like that just, I feel like, doesn't have a lot of brain cells in general.
Makes no sense to me. Like,
like
you're getting
$70 instead of Game Pass.
It's just an
like,
option, man. Like, I don't fucking know. Anyway,
like, you can still buy your games. I mean, that whole other tidbits or whole other episode we could talk about that.
Let's get into some tidbits here. We got tidbits. This is the games releasing for the week. All right, so these are the games releasing for the week here, and this is the week of February 19th.
All right, we got Balatro coming to PS4 and 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch and PC this Tuesday today for $14.99.
Really?
This is a card type.
Time to bring out the big guns. With these planet cards to permanently increase our level, and
it almost feels like poker with cheat cards.
It's on everything through it.
Everything, I think.
Okay, it's time to break things.
Interesting. This looks enthralling, guys. I'm captivated. So captivated.
If it ain't Marvel Snap, I ain't playing it if it's a card game.
Yeah, I was surprised I even got into Marvel Snap, because I was like, I'm not a card game person, but Marvel Snap is freaking amazing. I got a lot of people into Marvel Snap.
It just make everything aces.
Like I said, winning in Balatro is simple.
Can't say it's for me, but hey, maybe someone will play it and they're like, this game is amazing. No, not for me though.
I believe this is pronounced Quamp too.
Quamp.
Coming to PS4 and 5, Xbox Series S and X, Switch and PC today for $19.99. Classic Atari, or a modern take on a classic Atari game.
They remade Pong for the next generation.
Pretty much.
Who cares?
I think some of the backers got theirs already, I think.
Yeah, I'm happy Atari's back, but change it look.
Oh my god, the red and blue collided.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Womp poop.
I didn't know there was a first one. What was the first one?
Quomp.
This Qual? Oh boy. Dang.
Alright, this one is Warframe coming to your iPhone. Also today, and as it is on console, it's free to play with, I guess, some in-app purchases. So if you got a new iPhone, you can now play Warframe on the go.
I'm good.
I'm surprised they got Warframe to fit on a phone.
I mean, it's on the Switch.
And I'm so fucking
Oh, is it?
excited I don't have to buy Call of Duty going forward, guys.
Now the kind of unwritten thing about Warframe coming to iOS, if you have an Apple TV, you can now play it there too.
Last Epoch.
Yep. Last Epoch, only PC this Wednesday at $34.99.
Yeah, this one's been catching my attention, man.
Well, it's kind of.
It's Diablo, pretty much.
Oh yeah, this popped up. They only see this. Am I imagining things?
I mean, it's been hyped up for the last like couple years, so you've probably seen it before.
Which are you more excited about, this one or Path of Exile 2?
Path of Exile. I feel like this one is only gonna get its attention because Diablo is kind of stale right now. Like people are just gonna like, I want another Diablo style game. I'll play this until Path of
Yeah.
Exile.
Yeah. Diablo is kind of the first Diablo-ish game I played, if that makes sense. It's the first game I kind of played that sort of top-down genre. I don't know what's it called.
Be interesting to see how Diablo does when it comes to Game Pass, if it winds up breaking the servers again.
You getting this map?
I'm definitely considering it, man. I love these kind of games.
Tomorrow. Dang.
I think it's $35.
Nice.
Yeah. That's not, I mean, that's a good price too, bro. This is,
Yeah.
what do you think, what kind of numbers do you think that's going to do, Jasper?
250 on Steam.
Concurrent or?
Yeah,
Are we on?
and maybe like
Hearings
150.
Again? Oh, I don't have much
I say
time.
80.
Alright, this one is Terminator Dark Fate Defiance. Only on PC, also Wednesday for $59.99.
Out here with us. Someone else fighting the machines. I don't know who these guys are, but they look pro.
They look pro? What kind of writing is this?
They're military. Too far north for them to be.
I was already kind of cringing at the acting, but then like the line that was just like.
There are too many other survivor groups out here. each with their own agenda.
This is the RTS
Biden is the only one
game, isn't it?
in this war.
Yeah.
I think. All right, listen. I'll try to track them, get more information. If they're friendly, we sure could do with the help. And if not, we're out of here. Being in the movement means always on the move, right?
They look pro. Oh,
I mean,
that was a Skydance?
sure.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
No, unacceptable.
Oh,
That does
this
remind me
I
of
can
Red
do
Alert.
better.
Emit.
Illuminati.
Yes, perfection.
PS4 and 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch and PC
Don't worry,
this
little rabbit,
Thursday
gonna draw you a friend.
for $19.99, but I'm not sure why it
And
listed
let's blow
Xbox
this
on here
up.
because it's already been on Xbox and it's been in Game Pass.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, it's on your
Oh, did his ass have a face on it that was Spartan blood? Look, what was
Draw
that?
Yeah.
and lead your army of medieval
Interesting.
beasts in our turn-based strategy, Inculinati. Coming
Okay.
soon.
Seems like my
Real
type
soon.
of game I will try.
Pacific Drive. Huh?
This one is exclusive to PS5 and PC. Basically, think of Family Vacation horror version.
Nice.
$26.99. Oh, $29.99 normally. If you have PS Plus, it's $26.99.
Is there a creepy uncle in this one?
The chain of events were in plain sight. Strange accidents
There might be.
leading to the government's
It
claim
definitely
of
has that
domain.
family vacation station wagon look to it.
The
Oh, I remember
evacuation
seeing trailers for
Anything
this
else?
game.
Yeah.
and the attempt and abject failure.
It's been at, I think, a few PlayStation showcases. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a time traveling station wagon or some shit.
Order came to extract us.
Time traveling and portal opening. Yeah.
Something like
It's-
that.
Yeah.
You gonna put your dead aunt on the top of the car?
Martyr or monster? Nothing had more potential than Lynn.
That might be
Roll
Richie.
them
Yeah,
up.
it works.
And look what it did to the Olympic Peninsula.
Whoever's working on this trailer is doing a pretty good job.
A new scientific frontier with a raw power, the potential is limitless.
Dope. I want it. It's only on no, it's only on PC. Or PS5? It's only on PS5? Sorry,
PS5 and PC.
Pacific Drive. Yeah, that was
Pacific Drive.
This next one I thought was already, I guess it was in early access, but this is Sons of the Forest, only on PC, coming
have
this
this
Thursday for $29.99.
what? I have.
It says it's the
game in,
multiplayer trailer, so I don't know if it's like an update or whatever.
Yeah, maybe it's an update.
I think it is an update.
Because this is the game where
This
three
is
built
like
a
the
house and then hit it too many times and it broke on it.
Yeah, I was building my freaking house. Yeah, this game is awesome. If you get like a couple people together and start building stuff, and it's nice. Graphics are also amazing. I don't know if you could always tell.
Horror survival, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like survival. It does have a story if you want to follow it. Like, you don't have to follow the story. You could just kind of just build and just try and survive.
It doesn't really like. You kind of have to find the story. Like you find like notes and stuff, and it's like there's a secret base here or whatever. So then you kind of like run around the alley and you find the base and you get more shit. Like,
Yeah. Pretty cool. I do recommend if you like the first Forest game. First Forest game I still like. I liked it a little bit better, but that's just because I was getting my butt whooped this time. Yep, that's probably the story section I was talking about.
Mhm.
Cool. Probably just big update.
All right, this last one is Splatoon 3, the expansion pass for Side Order. So it's the DLC that's being released right now. If you already have Splatoon 3, the DLC is $24.99, but if you don't and you want to purchase the game and the DLC, it's $84.98.
Or for the next 8 days, you can get PlayStation Plus Premium, and you can get foam stars.
Man.
Yeah, I don't even think people that have a subscription for PS Plus want to play Foam Stars.
Yeah. People saw foam stars, they're like, anyways. Back to Splatoon.
I saw an interesting Easter egg video on this game the other day, where apparently the shopkeeper, I don't know if it's Splatoon 3 or Splatoon 2, but the shopkeeper has Splatoon language written on his shirt, but if you translate it, it says "fuck you."
Oh, really? That's funny. Do they have their own sort of Simlish?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. I never played Splatoon.
Gotta get that Nintendo Online Pass, bro. $20 a year.
I had it, but we never played games on it, so I was like, screw it. I'll face you guys in Smash Bros.
That's because you want to play Smash Bros. And we over here want to play Mario Kart stuff.
I don't want to play Mario Kart. I want to play Smash Bros.
That's it.
Oh,
That's
it for
doing the
bits, yeah.
freaking weird
Yeah, that's all right.
flicker thing.
Smash Bros, Smash Bros, Smash Bros. Yeah.
Hey, this game is dope.
My
main is Sheik.
Do you think more people are going to play the Splatoon expansion than played Foam Stars?
Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
I think so too. Well, that's it for the games for the week. Not a lot. I mean, Pacific Drive looked pretty cool. Last Epoch. Yeah, that one's.
And the Terminator game looks cool. That was a bad trailer.
So
but...
that's a RTS,
Yeah.
Jasper?
Yeah, it's RTS.
I
think that's the RTS or Terminator game.
Okay, I'll have to do more checking on that. Anyway, everybody, this has been a blast. Thank you all for hanging out on this episode. Man, that Halo conversation went a lot longer than I thought it was going to go, but that was a fun conversation to have. We all love the franchise, so it's interesting to have conversations about it every once in a while. Fuzzy, where can everybody find you, sir?
Oh, just want to start off by saying thank you for having me on tonight. Always love being on here with you guys. Thanks to everybody in the chat for showing up and interacting with us. Greatly appreciate it. For those who want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on Twitter at @fuzzy_Belvedere. I'm going to be on a trip with the wife for a week, so I'll see you guys not next week, but at least for not this Friday, next Friday. So look forward to seeing you guys then. But thanks again. It was awesome tonight.
Unless some news happens, we may just take next Monday night off. Give us an excuse to have a. Well, no, fuck. It's your last show, Jasper. Never mind. No, we're gonna. Oh, we're
we
gonna
can just take
off.
next week off.
I forgot about it's your last show. I was just thinking about it without Fuzzy here, but yeah, we gotta have your last FSP for sure. So yeah. Thanks, Fuzz. Appreciate you. 3-bit. What about you, dude?
Everyone can find me on Twitter at i3bits. First show's on the 25th because YouTube wouldn't let me and Steel live stream.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Why? What happened?
If you set up you want to go live and you never gone live before, it takes 24 hours or something to verify it. So yeah,
What?
I didn't know. I don't know when they started doing that. But I was like, all right, Steel, because I was talking to Steel the previous day, and we're like, okay, let's set it up. I went to the go live button just to test some things out, and they were like, Yeah, you can't live stream until 24 hours because you have to verify your phone number and everything.
Yeah, I
It's like,
knew that. I thought it was like you had to have like two-step verification and like a bunch of like other like security things before you could like go live. I thought that was like always the
weird.
requirement.
Did you? You should do just
I've
like
already
a
made that
little
count.
live test stream first.
Yeah, I mean, I was just doing.
Just make it
I was just
private.
pressing live.
Yeah, just make it private or something.
Well,
Just
I couldn't do any live thing.
well,
'cause it
I'm
was- it
just
wouldn't
saying
let me-
before your scheduled show next week. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you should do like a behind the scenes, like this little test to make sure, you know. So anyway,
Yeah, probably should. But yeah, the first show will be on the 25th. Excited for it. Me and Seal have been doing a lot of work behind the scenes for it. So excited for you guys to see it. Trolls, stay out of our chat. We don't tolerate any nonsense around these parts. We keep it clean. We if you have an opinion, it's fine. But if you're basically just like being kind of toxic, we don't tolerate that around here. So go to your Braps and your other ones out there. All right. Goodbye.
right on, bro. Thank you, 3-bit. And Jasper, what about you, sir?
Yeah, yo. You can check me out at Lord Jasper Twitter and just Monday, Tuesday, Friday right here for another week, and then that's about it. And then I'm going to be gone for quite a while.
Yep. Looking forward to it. That sucks. Anyway, everybody, yeah, we'll have PM of the PM this week. Actually, tomorrow's Fun Pops. We'll have Fun Pops tomorrow. Thursday, PM of the PM. Friday, Xbox Ultimate Podcast. And then we'll see. Maybe there'll be some cool news this week. Maybe there won't be. I feel like last week was full of news, but maybe there's Nintendo Direct this week. We'll see.
Oh yeah, happening.
Possibly. I don't know.
Let's see.
But
Some Xbox games there.
but I'm not expecting a Switch announcement anymore because the rumors were that it's maybe pushed back to 2025.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and find out. But everybody, thank you so much. Have a good one. Peace out. Good night.
Me.
Hey, yo.